Nerdrotic.com.
Welcome, travelers, to the fringes of reality, where the strange and mysterious meet, and the thin veil between fact and fiction is torn. Welcome to the Forbidden Frontier.
Hello. Welcome to the show, everybody. We're going to have a fun one today. Yes, we're late. We always are.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
It actually, no, I'll always take, nobody's even going to believe you, Mike.
Yeah, true. Nobody believes me anyway.
I get blamed for streams I'm not even on being late, and I'm fine with that. Let me be the internet scapegoat for all those late people. I'm fine. This is Forbidden Frontier, and hey, for the people who listen to it, on Audible and other places, you won't even notice that we're late. You're not even going to notice, but the poor chat does. And welcome, chat. Thanks for being here. We have a fun show. We're going to talk about the moon some more. We're going to talk about Mars. We're going to talk about oh my God, I almost called it AI Atlas, 3-eye Atlas.
Yeah.
3-eye Atlas. And basically the thing, well, no, Oumuamua was the one shaped like a turd.
Yeah.
It's like a giant turd coming through space, but it's actually a spaceship.
Healthy turd.
Well, that's you're right. That is a healthy turd, a big log.
Yeah.
You want
nice
those.
log.
We
Solid
can talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about that. But before we talk about turds, let's talk about AI. That's a bad transition. This show is sponsored by Venice AI. We had an interesting conversation on Friday Night Tights about the goods and the bads and everything. But I was listening to Gary Nolan on Joe Rogan. So we were talking about it in art. And generally, I think people still think it's bad in art where there's nothing you can do about it. But in science, Gary Nolan just came out and said, it's already cost jobs in my department. It's reduced my staff from 30 to 6 because it's so useful. But the problem is for the people is it's getting things done faster, and it's actually going to be good for our health to figure this out, because he deals mainly with cancer. Like that's his main gig, aside from like looking at UFO stuff. So there's good and there's bad, of course, but we don't want the bad AI spying on you. With Venice AI, it lets you use AI without handing over your sensitive information for features like messages. Messages are encrypted, and your conversation history is stored only in your browser. AI can be extremely valuable, but we shouldn't need to give up our privacy to use it. Venice utilizes leading open source AI models to deliver text, code, and image generation to your web browser. There's no downloads, no installation of anything. The Venice Pro plan unlocks the full platform features, including PDF uploads for summaries and our insights, the ability to turn off safe mode, or unhindered image generation, which our chat likes the most. The ability to change how Venice interacts with you by modifying the system prompt, limitless text, and high image limits. If you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or a government, might be a little late for all of us, you can get 20% off of the Pro plan using my link, venice.ai/Nerdrotic, and code Nerdrotic, or check out the link below in the description. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
What does that? I have one question. What does that mean? Turn off safe mode. I mean, what does that mean? You're going to get better?
No, you can. You can. No. Well, safe mode, Mike, is for people like Ryan Kinnell. When he searches his porn, it's not really a safe mode. It's incognito mode.
If you want the Japanese tentacle porn, you'll get it with safe mode off. I got that. Yeah. If you're a CNN reporter.
Sorry to call you out, Ryan, but that's just he's streaming right now. Anyway, he won't hear me.
He did it on stream before.
Well, he's just admitted it. So we have Mike Bara here, author. You know her from Ancient Aliens and 50 other shows.
Yes.
Welcome back, Mike.
Welcome back, dude.
I love doing this. There's very few things that would make me give up my Sunday afternoon of watching meaningless sporting events than this show. This is the one thing that makes me give that up.
We're still in preseason, right? So
yeah.
Got you at the right time.
Yeah, no, you won't see me till after February, starting next weekend. But
February, Seahawks. It'll be over in November for you guys. Come on. Seahawks.
Yeah. The Texas guy. How the Cowboys doing?
I'm born in San Diego. My team doesn't exist anymore. They're in LA.
Oh, the Chargers. Yes, that French team, the Chargers.
The Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. It's disgusting to see that name over the Charger name. It makes me physically.
Well, but is it? I mean, look, I lived in LA. I lived in the LA area in Redondo. I mean, it's 2 hours. Isn't it basically the same city? I mean, it's not like
now those are fighting words, man.
That is sacrilege.
I mean, to be honest with you, it is now, but for so long it wasn't. But yeah, San Diego is just LA South now.
Well, I still always call it.
I haven't been there in 10 years.
I just call it
San Diego's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your team used to be in the AFC West, man.
That's true. They were for a while.
Jim Zorn, Steve Largent.
And did you know there's only one team in the NFL that has ever played in both the AFC and the NFC championship games?
That would be the Seahawks.
Seahawks, that's right.
Well, you got the coach we should have got, Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Our owner sucks. So
you can have him now.
No, it's all right.
Pete's great for the rah-rah stuff, but when you get to be like, how are you going to cover the tight end on 3rd and 8? Pete. Then he's got, I don't know, the linebacker's supposed to pick him up. Yeah. Okay, Pete, thanks. Maybe you should join Marv Levy on the sidelines.
Maybe.
All right.
So let's talk about the moon. You want to start with the moon or Mars, Adam?
Cool. We can start with the moon.
Let's start with the moon.
Three-Eye Atlas.
Start with Three-Eye Atlas.
Three-Eye Atlas.
Let's start with Three-Eye Atlas, which is in the news. Keeps making news every day because we can actually observe this thing. And I think we actually there is some stuff, and you could correct us if we're wrong on this one, Mike. There is stuff around Mars right now. We have a couple of satellites around Mars that they can maybe redirect and look at this thing to even closer, because it's going to be behind the sun for us most of the time. What's your take on Three-Eye Atlas, Mike?
I keep going back and forth. Alien spaceship, comet, piece of debris, right? I don't know. I think it's too weird. It's too coincidental, but it's basically intersecting the orbit of Mars, right? That's really weird stuff. It's coming in on the plane of the ecliptic. Now, everybody says, well, this thing has come from outside, from another galaxy, as Spock said in the Doomsday Machine many years ago. On Star Trek, but I don't think they can prove that yet, because I don't think our orbital mechanics understanding is good enough to say that conclusively, because there's one thing they're not considering. And our friends over at the Y-Files did a great episode on this a month or two ago. What if there was a planet that's near the orbit of where Mars is now, and then there was another planet where they're supposed to be in the asteroid belt, and they exploded, or even weirder than that, Gary, they were exploded. We don't know. Then stuff like this that has really unusual characteristics and debris would make an eventual parabolic return to the solar system, but it would be such a long course of orbit that it would look like it had never been through the solar system before, when in fact it might have actually originated here. And that would explain a whole bunch of weird things about Three-Eye Atlas. I keep calling it 31 Atlas. Three-Eye Atlas's orbit and its course, because it's coming back to basically where it started from. It's circling back, as Jen Psaki used to say. So that, I think, is a distinct possibility, but it's one not even being considered. Even people like Avi Loeb, they're not considering that because they don't know about the theory. Now, thanks to AJ, hopefully more people will know about it, because I don't have the math background to really test that and say, well, okay, let's run the calculations and see where this thing might have come from. It's not even something they're even thinking about. So, what it is, where it came from, to me, that's what makes the most sense. That it's a chunk of this planet that exploded eons ago. God knows how long ago. And it explains a lot of weird things about the composition because, and let's face facts, the orbit is really, really weird. I mean,
Yes.
coming in on the plane of the ecliptic, 500 to 1 odds, I think that is. Passing that close to Mars, enough to be gravitationally tugged, 20,000 to 1 odds. You know, just taking the course near Jupiter and all the stuff that it's doing. You know, look, if you give me 500 to 1 odds, I live in Vegas. I'm going up the street to the casino, and I'm just laying down bets all day if you're going to give me 500 to 1, right? And I'm going to be very rich by the end of the day. So you got all that stuff, but then the big concern for me is you don't want another Hale-Bopp situation. I think we all remember. I know, Gary, I know you were an Art Bell fan. You remember what happened with the cult and
yes,
the Hale-Bopp thing. But then, you know, you look at Hale-Bopp, and I'll
tell us
never
about that, because that actually rings a bell. But I think I was too young. But
okay,
I
well, there
wanna
was
know more. What is the Hale-Bopp cult?
there was the Heaven's Gate cult, I think they
Heaven's
were called.
Gate. Yep.
Marshall Applewhite was the leader, who looks exactly like the twin brother of the guy who runs Gaia TV now. Just for reference, not saying. I'm just saying.
He does, though. He
I'm
does.
I'm just saying. And they were very weird. They believed there was a companion spacecraft orbiting around Hale-Bopp. Now, two things about that. Number one, in Dr. Tom Van Flanderen's exploded planet hypothesis, which, again, I would advise you to check out the Y-Files episode on that or read my books. That's possible because all comets should have companions. They should be orbiting each other because they're chunks of exploded planets, and that's what happens when stuff blows up in space. But they later found out or believed that image was a fake, that image was manufactured by somebody who just put it out in the early days of the internet to just get clicks and likes or whatever. But this cult believed it was really an alien spacecraft, and they started preparing themselves to be ascended into the spacecraft when the aliens came by, because Hale-Bopp was coming very close to Earth at that time in 1998. It even inspired some episodes of Millennium, the great show with Lance Henriksen.
Oh, great show.
Great show. I was in Star Trek Vegas like a month ago now, and Glenn Morgan was there, and I wanted to really meet him and just tell him how great I thought that show was. But
I saw they got the name back, so somehow they can call it a Star Trek convention again. They lost the licensing, so they got it back.
Yes. And by the way, I met the nicest guy you're going to meet, and I'm sorry he's on such a terrible show, is Ethan Peck. Ethan Peck sat there and talked to me and my bro for like 10 minutes solid.
Yeah, I heard he's a good guy. Heard he's a really good guy. He's
great guy.
Underserved being on a bad show.
Great guy.
But Heaven's Gate.
But so Heaven's Gate, so this cult, and there was all these weird things. Like they made all these rules. This Marshall Applewhite guy made all these rules. Of course, the women, nobody could have sex except him. And they would bring him the women, you know, all the usual cult stuff. And the men, they actually talked the men into, can I say this? Can I say it? Castrating
whatever you want here. Yes.
Castrating themselves to be in the cult. That was part of the purification process to ascend to this spaceship that was orbiting Hale-Bopp. And as the event came near, as Hale-Bopp came near, they all committed suicide. I think it was by Kool-Aid, kind of a Kool-Aid thing.
It was cyanide, right? I think it was
cyanide capsules.
Yeah.
They found them with these purple triangles draped over their bodies, all wearing brand new tennis shoes. I think they were Air Jordans.
I forgot what the tennis shoes were. The chat will remind us, but they went up in sales. They spiked in sales. I want to show you something real quick. Our buddy Count Dankula did a great video on this, by the way.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Summarizing it. Yeah, summarizing this, but I wanted to share. The website is still up.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Really?
There it
So
is.
There
look
are
how old school this is.
There are a couple of survivors. There were a couple of, let me tell you a quick story, Mike.
Sure.
So Heaven's Gate, by the way, the Hale-Bopp comet is still the greatest comet I've ever seen. It was,
and there's another point I want to get to about it, but yeah.
Okay, you get to the point real quick.
Right.
Go for it.
No, you finish. You finish your
right.
thought.
So the Hale-Bopp was like, you were probably too young, Adam, and I don't know where you were in the world, but I was in San Diego, and you could see it every night at sunset. and it was fucking
Whoa.
huge, and it was beautiful. It was rad. It was like a real comet because I missed Halley's, right? So like this is the first like real comet I saw, and for it felt like over a couple of weeks you could see it like you just got used to it in the sky.
Halley's Comet was nothing by comparison. Yeah,
Nothing,
I mean it took up 10 or 15% of the sky in Seattle where I was living.
It was big. It was really cool to see. So Heaven's Gate was based in Rancho Santa Fe, California, in North County, not far from where I lived. I was a parts driver at the time. And on one fateful day, I was going up Interstate 15. I was headed back and I had to cut through. I need to get back down to San Diego. So Interstate 15 was there's too much traffic. So I had a shortcut that I go through Rancho Santa Fe from Escondido down to Mira Mesa where I needed to go. So on one fateful day, I take this little shortcut that has never been trouble for me anymore. It's like back roads and shit. Fucking roads closed. I'm stuck. I have a beeper. I don't have a cell phone. I'm in a company car and I am stuck. Like I had to take the car home. The company at the time fired me, thought I stole the car. And I had to tell them the next day that I got stuck in traffic because a bunch of fucking retards killed themselves because they thought it was a fucking spaceship behind a comet.
One night,
the road was
very Nerdrotic found himself on a lonely country road.
On a lonely country road, everything's blocked. We can't get out of there. It's a police scene, and it was these fuckers. It was just off the road. So I was like,
the same ones that Kool-Aided themselves.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they did Kool-Aid themselves. The Heaven's Gate cult, I got stuck in traffic. I got temporarily fired from my job, had the cops called on me. By the way, 2 felons at the time. So I was fucking freaking out. I was freaking out because like third strike, prison the rest of my life. And I'm like, I didn't steal the car. God, it was fucking terrible. But yes, I was.
So what else is there on that website? Is there any other are there pictures or anything? Or
whether Hale Bopp has a companion or not is irrelevant from our perspective. However, its arrival is joyously very significant to us at Heaven's Gate. The joy is that our older member in the evolutionary level above human, the King of Heaven, has made it clear to us that Hale Bopp's approach is the marker we've been waiting for. The time for arrival of the spacecraft from the level above human to take us home to their world in the literal heavens. Our 22 years of classroom here on planet Earth is finally coming to conclusion. Graduation, in quotes, from the human evolutionary level. We are happily prepared to leave this world, in quotes, and go to T's crew. If you study the material on this website, you will hopefully understand our joy and our purpose here on Earth has been, what our purpose here on Earth has been. You may even find your boarding pass to leave with us during the brief window. We are so very thankful that we were recipients of this opportunity to prepare for membership in their kingdom and to experience their boundless caring and nurturing.
God. Give me this website. Give me the link. Can I have the link to this?
It's heavensgate.com.
Heaven's Gate.
That's it.
Heavensgate.com. That's it.
That's wild. Oh my God.
Yeah, that really happened. That really happened in 1998. And I guess they did achieve their goal because they did end up ascending to the next level of heaven, which is, what happens when you drink cyanide. So,
What if they were onto something though?
Well, here's the thing.
What if they're out there riding Hale Bopp around?
Dude, I don't need to go to some other level to. I ain't castrating. No.
Yeah, it's like people who take ayahuasca so they can achieve some sort of spiritual connection to God. It's like, I don't need that. Thanks anyway. You go right ahead and see little green butterflies explaining to you the nature of the universe. You go ahead and do that. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass on the vomiting and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
And the seizures, Graham Hancock, and the seizures, and all that stuff. I'm going to pass on that, altering my own brain. But here's the thing: the closest approach of Hale Bopp, I forget the exact date, but there was a specific date. It was maybe in March or something. And for some reason that night I was in Portland, just south of Seattle. But you could see Hale Bopp, and Hale Bopp was really unique because it's the only comet that's ever had 2 tails. It had one sodium tail and one vapor tail, and that was really weird. And nobody really still has a good explanation for that, except it was salt water. It was a chunk of an exploded planet. Let's just say that. All right. But it was in this orbit, so its moment of what is it? Perihelion, I think, is the closest approach, and was taking place at exactly the same moment of a total lunar eclipse.
Cool.
So the Earth was passing between the sun and the moon. So the moon is, so I'm in Portland, and literally I think it was perfectly east-west from that position. So I'm looking up, it's night, and on my left I see the moon blood red in a lunar eclipse, and on the right I see Hale-Bopp as big, as bright as it could possibly be. And I'm just going to tell you, when it comes to celestial mechanics, that's impossible. That's a coincidence that goes into the millions, billions, trillions to one, that those two celestial events are taking place at the exact same moment. That's the equivalent of an eclipse happening during the crucifixion of Christ. Okay, that's how completely off the wall this is. And so what Hoagland and I at the time were arguing was, look, somebody arranged this. If you have a hypership, if you have a little flying saucer technology, and all you have to do is fly it out to the asteroid belt, find one with some snow and ice on it, and you can nudge it, just bump up against it real gently and nudge it into a perfect orbit and create this event. And somebody did it, I believe, for that reason. And I do believe it was symbolic, probably satanic, probably some Masonic thing, but they did it on purpose because that's just not possible. And when you look at the parallels with the orbit of 3I Atlas, to me, it's the same thing. It's almost like, did somebody redirect this thing? Which a lot of people think, and I've had my friend Jen, who, yes, I'm into psychics, yes, I'm into remote viewers. My friend Jen on my show, Real News Live with Mike and Jen, Mondays and Wednesdays.
Oh, remote viewing is like, I think that's real.
She said it's like a big chunk of iron. Yeah, it is real, but it's only, again, because most of the time you're asking about, does this girl really like me? There's so many human choices that go in.
Not what I would ask.
Well, okay. there's so many human choices that go in.
Yeah.
It can only, the best you're ever going to get out of a psychic is like 80%, and timing is always messed up because time is different at on other planes of existence. So if she's really getting the information, he or she, from somewhere higher, you can't really count, when's it going to happen? Oh, it's going to happen August 23rd, right? But they don't tell you which year, But so anyway, that the point being that I look at 3I Atlas and I see exactly the same thing. I don't see how this orbit can be a coincidence. So either it is a product of some intelligence beyond the Earth that nudged this thing into this orbit or put it into this orbit for a specific reason, or it's something that we did. Like our guys are out there trying to create some sensational thing. And I don't mean to go back to Q drops, but remember there's one where it talks about the Sky event coming at the end, not necessarily the end of times, but that's a little weird. So I'm kind of putting all, this is how I work. This is how my brain works, unfortunately, Gary. I'm putting all these conspiracies together. Why the heck would the Cowboys trade Micah Parsons? But that's how it works. And I look at this.
That's proof we're in a simulation.
Yeah, right, exactly. There. It's just too weird to speak of to really understand. And then the question becomes, what is going to happen when it really gets? I don't know if it's behind the sun yet, but it's going to get there. And it comes out on October 29th is when we'll see it again. And it's weird because like October 29th is one of the most important repetitive dates in my life. That's the day I started working at Boeing. It's a day I got a certain pet that was important to me. It's a day, my niece was born. There's like 5 or 6 things that have happened on that day. And when I saw that, I'm like, I
have a repetitive.
Not aliens.
I have a repetitive. I don't look much into it, but I have a repetitive date, which is, believe it or not, April 1st.
Wow.
April 1st is a weird. It's a date where I've started. My wife started her business. I started my business. That's the day I moved to San Francisco.
Nice.
I didn't pick my starting date at Boeing. These days just come.
Yeah, they're random. It's random.
You should say it's not random. That's the thing. It's not.
I think
random.
It's simulation.
Well, I call it hyperdimensional physics, which is just the way the universe works. So I don't know what it is, but I think it's something, and I think it's not nothing, and I think we need to pay attention to it.
So what about because I was corrected in the chat. God, it was because I'm a big dummy, right? So I'll fully acknowledge that. But they were talking about how it doesn't have a tail like a traditional tail. It's got a cloud of dust before it.
Right. It didn't. Although now there's some new images in certain different wavelengths where there is starting to be a little bit of a tail. So it's looking a little more like a comet.
Okay,
but it's not behaving like a comet, because if it really was a comet, a dirty snowball, which I think that model is just wrong, we would have seen a coma a long time before this. So there's something weird about it. And then the new pictures, they brought these pictures from Jay West, right? Now, Jay West is so good, and I worked on that project, by the way. It's so good that it can see a planet orbiting a star like hundreds of light years away, but the image of 3i Atlas is
what the hell?
Okay,
yeah,
this is bullshit. I'm just telling you, they know what this thing looks like, and their images are 1,000 times better than that. I don't think I'm exaggerating. Hundreds, if not thousands of times better than that.
They're always holding the best images. They're not going to give us the high def stuff. They never are. Because they want to hold that information. Even if it looks pretty fuking normal, they want to hold that information back until they know for sure. Because they want to remain the authoritative source.
And the Brookings Report, commissioned in 1958 at the dawn of NASA, told them to do that kind of thing. If you have any evidence of artifacts, you should seriously consider not telling people about it. And it also reminds me, Hoagland did an event in Pasadena in 1998. I was with him. And it was all about Mars Pathfinder. And we're going to look at some of these images today. There were all these things in the foreground of the Mars Pathfinder lander that didn't look like rocks. I mean, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm like, that, I don't know what that is, but it's not a rock. That's somebody designed that, right? And this guy shows up and he has these beautiful 8x10 glossies, and they're 10 times, I'm not going to exaggerate, 10 times better, at least 10 times better than what's on the web. And we're looking at this going, wow, holy crap. And the guy says, well, I work at JPL, and this is what the camera can really do, and this is what you're really looking at. And, Hoagland was like, well, I see this and I see that. And he goes, what do you think? And I'm like, I see this and I see that. And then, and he said, yeah, we were wondering when you were going to find this one, and he points to some mechanical piece of junk or something sitting in this debris field. And then the guy said, oh, hey, look, wait a minute. Can I have those back? I need to black out the stamp on the back so they can't be traced back to me. And Hoagie goes, yeah, sure. And I got distracted by somebody else. It was literally like a senator distracting Mark Antony, as Julius Caesar is approaching the Senate. I got distracted. He got distracted. And we turned around and the guy was gone on the pictures with him. So these sneaky mofos are up to something with 3i Atlas. And that tells you that there's something to it. And it may be that it just proves that it's a piece of an exploded planet or something somehow. And that's really something I don't want to go to, because guess what? We live on a planet. And the next question they're going to ask at the press conference is, excuse me, planets can explode? Don't we live on one? See how destabilizing that is. So,
well, I compared the trajectory of Hale-Bopp and 3i Atlas just because I was curious if they shared something. And it's actually completely perpendicular to the ecliptic, whereas 3i Atlas is coming in along the plane.
Right on. Yeah, it's actually coming into the plane. Wow.
But if they are both, you kind of mentioned maybe it is another piece. I'm talking about Hale-Bopp, and if it was, and it just went this way, and the rest went in all directions. I mean, it could potentially be, but you'd think that there'd be more coming also, right behind it.
Well, the thing is, how do we go in astronomy for hundreds of years? I mean, hundreds of years since telescopes were invented, a couple hundred years, 150 years, whatever it is.
True.
And only in the last 5 years did we finally find 3 objects that appear to have come from outside the solar system. I mean,
that they're telling us.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. True.
But you think if it happened 300 years ago, people would have been like, look, we found an object.
Yeah. That didn't originate here from outside, from another galaxy.
I love, and I stick with the exploded planet theory for the asteroid field. And I think one of and I only half remember this from seeing it from a documentary, so I'm not saying this is even right. But one of the things I heard is there wasn't enough mass. There's not enough meteors to make a planet.
Right. That's true.
That's that. But wouldn't a lot of the planet just go like have escape velocity with the explosion?
Or get pulled into Jupiter.
Yeah,
you have a planet, right? And these Dr. Van Flandern, and it's in my book, The Choice. I do a great job covering his theories in that book. He'd already passed away by then. You have these planets that are probably what they call super Earths. Super Earths are rocky planets like the Earth, only they're twice as big and about 5 times as massive. They also tend to be very tectonically unstable and have a lot more heavy elements like uranium, which, Gary, can lead to chain reactions, which theoretically can lead to a planet blowing up, right? So they're huge, they're massive, they're dense, and they're under all this intense pressure and heat inside. When that seal is broken and you're exposed to absolute zero, what is it, minus 400 and some odd degrees below R0, right? 95% of the planet's mass is vaporized. And if you go to, it's still up there, the metaresearch.org website is Dr. Tom Van Flandern's website. He addresses all of these issues. And he said, look, 95% of the mass is going to be vaporized instantly on exposure to the vacuum. So you're down to 5%. The rest of it, a lot of it's going to get sucked up by Jupiter, which might explain why Jupiter is bigger and more massive than Saturn, which is farther away, because it acted like a vacuum cleaner. And we're not talking one, we're talking theoretically probably 2 planets, one in the orbit of where Mars is now and one where the asteroid belt is. And this is probably what created also the meteorites that killed the dinosaurs. It struck Earth. You look at Venus, the radar images of Venus, there's this huge gash going like laterally around the planet. Well, if a huge chunk of this thing comes in and hits Venus as it's orbiting prograde orbit and hits it, and it would, and carves this gash over 1/3 of the planet, guess what? You've got a beautiful Earth-like world. The inner Earth, the outer Earth is Mars. The middle Earth is this one. Clever, huh? Tolkien knew what he was talking about, right? And it would vaporize the oceans, create a huge gash. All this sulfur and gas is going to escape, creating the cloud layer and spin the planet around going the wrong way. And that is so, a huge chunk of this stuff hit Earth, killed the dinosaurs. A huge chunk of the stuff hit Venus at an angle, spun it backwards. I mean, it's like the exploded planet hypothesis literally explains everything you see in the solar system. And NASA has no explanations for any of them. None. They have descriptions, but a description is not an explanation. So I would say go to metaresearch.org, and it explains, that's a really long answer to a short question, Gary, is that 95% of the mass gets vaporized instantly upon contact with the vacuum. So
yeah, well,
website, great.
They being NASA really want things to have happened, and they did a long time ago. But
right,
the moon got pelted. It doesn't get pelted as much as it used to, but it got pelted. Mars got pelted. But they say it's billions of years, and maybe there could have been 2 different ones. But they don't want to say it was millions.
Right, exactly, or even hundreds of thousands or thousands, because that's even more recent and more scary. But here's the thing: there's always been this war in astronomy and cosmology between the catastrophists and the gradualists. The gradualists say everything happens very slowly, it's very calm, there's no big disasters, and the catastrophists are like, no, it's these catastrophes, these cataclysms that F everything up and make shifts and changes, and that's why dinosaurs suddenly die out and hominids, appear. So there's that war going on, and the gradualists have control of the scientific narrative right now. So they don't want you to believe any of this stuff. Also, the age of this stuff, Gary, it's all based on, you just hit on it, crater counts. Well, if planets can explode, then crater counts are meaningless. Because look at the craters on Mars. Mars is tethered to this big planet, and it blows. And Mars tips over, and you get one side spattered with so many impacts, craters that you can't even count. They can't even count how many craters there are on the bottom side of Mars. The upper side, where Cydonia is and the face and all that, is pretty much stripped clean. It rips away half the atmosphere. It's a really bad day for Mars. But, that messes up the crater counts too. So their assumption is that the cratered skin of Mars is the older surface, and the smooth part of Mars is the newer surface. But what if it's exactly the opposite? What if because if the planets explode, then it's exactly the opposite. So, there's just, you're fighting these institutional biases, and you're fighting the fact that there are secrets they want to keep, and they really don't want to tell people that planets explode because we live on one.
Yeah, that'd be a scary prospect.
Yeah.
Be a very scary but if we could have super volcanoes, I mean, like, this is the same NASA and academia that want me to believe that some random planet ran into ours and created the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
But we can't have an exploding planet. It's like,
no.
And they are academia chat, by the way.
That's ridiculous.
Academia. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And, and then how do you explain the fact that, except that the oxygen isotope ratios of the moon rocks they brought back match Earth exactly. So, and again, this is deeper into the exploded planet thing, where the theory is that the sun gathers up all this mass and spins faster and faster until it spins too fast, and then it flattens or oblates, and out of the belly, the plane of the ecliptic, it spins off a planet, and it spins off another planet. It spins off 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 until it stabilizes. The energy output stabilizes. The planets spiral away and cool and become the gas giants and they have all the spin energy in the solar system. The sun has very little, as like less than 2% of the spin energy. The rest of it's all on the planets. And then according to that theory, according to Dr. Tom, go to the Meta Research website and read it. Then the rocky planets like the Earth spin off a moon, like the moon, which is about a quarter of the size. And then if you look at the same matchup, if you look at Venus and Mercury, they match up exactly the same too. So they're about the same proportional size. And Mercury is the closest to the sun, but has the most eccentric orbit. So he's like, hey, Mercury was a moon of Venus, just like the moon is a moon of Earth, but it got torn away from Venus because it was too close to the sun or something like that. So anyway, wasn't that a Duran Duran song, Too Close to the Sun? Yeah.
I feel like there's a connection here between the James Webb Space Telescope giving us a shite image of Gray Atlas, and them, like this Adam and Eve story from the CIA being redacted completely. And there's this energy of, we can't let the general human populace know how fragile our systems are, the Earth is, and how quickly life can just cease to exist as a norm as we know it. Right, like cataclysms are constant. That's why Göbekli Tepe, like Jimmy is on their ass, because they're like, we don't want to excavate it, and it's like, well, probably because it tells the story of, hey, civilization ended, and we're gonna build this thing to try to tell future generations about it, and they're like, well, let's save this for future generations. It's like, what do you mean?
Let's make it a tourist stop.
Yeah. I mean, look. Human civilization, man, it's from the sky down. Literally, the most advanced, older evidence in archaeology that have found, it's all up high. So it shows you the planet was flooded at one time, but they don't want you to believe in the flood either.
No, so. and you know what's behind a lot of that is, and Randall's talked about this, but like what's behind a lot of, and this goes way back. Really, they don't want there to be a flood, is because they are so anti-religious. Because geology started out as a hobby, right? And a lot of the geologists in America were just happened to be priests and pastors who wandered the earth and had the time to go check this stuff out. And it really was focused on the flood theory. And I like, you could, like, both things could be true. Like, I don't think the earth is just 6,000 years old. Okay, I just don't.
No.
I absolutely think there was a flood that wiped out a civilization, and I think there's a lot of evidence of it. And maybe it wasn't global, maybe it was. We don't fucking know, because 12,000 years ago, this was a different looking planet, completely had different.
Well, in my book, Ancient Aliens and Secret Societies, I'm just kidding. It's up there somewhere. I'm behind the Shatner book. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But you look at stuff like the Darunapar site, which I think you guys have talked about before, the Noah's Ark site on the mountains of Ararat in Turkey. They don't want the religious aspect to be partially proven true, because that will then electrify people, and they're like, oh my God, the Bible's right. But I think what's going on is the science has part of the story, and the Bible, the religion, not just the Bible, but the other ancient books have part of the story. And if you go back and you look at the Bible, and I've talked about this, people used to live 700, 800, 900 years. Well, how the heck is that possible? Well, it's possible, the Bible describes, because there was the firmament, right? What's the firmament? What does that talk about? What could that possibly be? And there was no rain. There was just this sort of dewy, wet stuff all the time. And then all of a sudden, after the flood, exactly like Dagobah, after the flood, there was, rainbows, all the colors come out, rainbows, nice song, Bono. But how do you have that? And so I actually talked to Randall. I was talking to Randall before he was in my book, before he was in Graham's book or David Wilcox's book, which pisses me off, but oh well, Graham Hancock's Graham Hancock, right? That's just, you're just going to lose that one. But we had lots of email exchanges, and I said, okay, so I went back and I looked, and there was this theory of a water vapor canopy. Now, if that's around the Earth, that's the so-called firmament described in the Bible. Well, what would that do? It would block out a lot of the sun's harmful cosmic rays, which would degenerate our DNA, which means maybe our bodies could live to be 5, 6, 7, 800 years of age healthily, because our DNA wasn't being constantly degraded by cosmic bombardment. And I said, okay, so let's say that this is true. And there's arguments against it, but they're not really very good arguments. Oh, well, the air pressure at sea level would be crushing if there was a water vapor canopy. Yeah, well, what if everybody lived in the mountains? Well, no, actually, the air pressure there would be just like it is at sea level today, Gary. Isn't that amazing? But let's say something
comes to mind.
Machu Picchu, exactly. So what happens if a comet or an asteroid hits the Earth and that water vapor canopy? I don't know, let's say 1,300 years ago, the Younger Dryas impact. And I said, okay, here's the bottom line question, Randall. If that canopy existed, and if a comet or asteroid hits it at high velocity, what's going to happen? And he goes, it's going to rain. And I said, is it going to rain for 40 days and 40 nights? And he said, pretty close probably to about that. So maybe that's where all these stories come from. They're not stories. They're things that really happened. And it changed our planet. It changed our DNA. It changed who we are. It shortened our lives. But it just changed the way the entire planet was. But
taught us how to carve in relief.
Yes, taught us how to carve overnight, Adam.
Overnight, I know.
Overnight,
no practice.
But maybe we were bigger. Maybe some of us were bigger at the time.
Well, we were. And the thing is, too, is if you look at this theory, Hoagland's hyperdimensional physics theory, and combine it with Dr. Tom Van Flander's exploded planet hypothesis theory, right? What it basically says is that the solar system is not isolated. It's a system. And everything is connected through higher dimensions, higher realms. In other words, something happens on Mars, physical energy release, it can be felt on Earth instantaneously, instantaneous action at a distance. These things do happen. It also means that every solar system, the laws of physics are going to be slightly different, because every solar system is going to have a slightly different configuration in terms of planets and their spin and spin energy and their mass and how all these things interrelate. So if you had 2 or even 4 planets that used to exist in the solar system and no longer do, then you have less overall energy being gated into the system. And when you have less energy, that means less creation energy, less life energy, Gary. So you go from dinosaurs who are 45 feet tall to guys like us who are 5'9", 5'10" on average. So it all fits and it all adds up.
I mean, a dinosaur couldn't survive in our atmosphere.
Not today.
That was my only problem with Primitive War, which is a great movie, but the dinosaurs wouldn't survive.
Primitive War. Yeah, and I mean, they
Primitive
keep
War is
talking
awesome.
About, Godzilla would be crushed under the weight of his own body, and it's like, it's okay. It's just still really cool when he stomps Tokyo,
It is. Plus, I like to believe like Godzilla is just made different. So,
but exactly, he's got bigger bones. But that's why when we look at ancient life, it's bigger because there were more planets in the solar system. Therefore, there's more life energy. Therefore, the Earth can support bigger stuff.
Plants were bigger. Some tree. You've been to Northern California? Have you, Adam? Have you seen the giant sequoias? Those things are insane.
Yeah,
absolutely insane. It looks like you're walking, like you're waiting for a dinosaur to walk by.
The redwoods, the redwoods
are insane. But yeah, so why wouldn't people be bigger? That just,
that explains Shaq. The occasional Shaq that comes through.
I just watched a video about it's a theory that we were the giants all along, and we have just been getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And there are the stories of giants are coming from the humans that were actually, or the hominids that were short and tiny compared to us. Because there was like this 1 meter tall. Is it the Homo naledi? No. We talked about it like a year ago. I don't remember the name of
the one from the Cave of Bones.
Maybe that's the one. I'm not sure.
What's a meter again?
3 feet.
Yeah,
3 feet.
It's a yard.
3 feet plus. It's a yard plus 3 inches.
Yeah, it's basically a yard. But well, the one thing the Cave of Bones talked about, which they're starting to really get into now, is these other hominids who lived 40,000 years ago were intelligent. 200,000 years ago, and they were building structures and had religious systems and stuff like that. So, and why not? And just because their brains were smaller than ours, but not to the proportion of their body, they might just work better. I don't know. I have no answer for this, but God, I forgot his name. Somebody just talked about this on Joe Rogan a couple of weeks ago. And
it was Michael Button.
Yes.
He's the one who did the video on it. You should check it out. It's pretty good. About
how
we were the giants.
And it's not brain size that really matters, because I mean, look at how smart your dogs and cats are. They got little itty bitty brains, but if they had the vocal cords, they could talk to us. They could have simple conversations with us, like a 2 or a 4 or 5-year-old could. I have going back to psychics. I have a pet psychic, Gary, Denise Zach, who's amazing, by the way. She's no longer a pet psychic because it hurts too much, but she said, hey, horses can understand English. They can't speak it because of their vocal structure, but they can understand everything you're saying. So we were out, I was visiting her in Chicago. We were at her horse barn, and I started talking to her horse, and the damn thing responded to everything I said. I asked him to pose for a picture. Hey, Steele, can I take a picture and put it on the internet so people all over the world can see it? And he turned his head sideways and said, yeah. And then he kind of stopped and he posed for me, and I took 2 or 3 pictures. I mean, it was bizarre.
Blue Steel.
What? Yeah. And once I started talking to him, he definitely was understanding everything I was saying. So
certain birds are incredibly smart. So
ravens.
They have tiny. Yeah, ravens. They're fucking huge, dude. When we were in the UK, man. Dude, those things were like
that raven in the Tower of London, right?
God damn, that thing was huge,
there. Forgot.
Yeah, we got ravens. We got ravens here in Vegas. I've never really been around ravens before. They're not very big in the Northwest, which is where I spent most of my life.
No. In the UK, they're big. They're freaking prehistoric.
Yeah.
Quote the raven.
I see them around here. There's a raven that lives in my woods. I see him sometimes. Pretty cool.
Does he want to eat you, and does he have 3 eyes?
Thankfully not.
No.
Well, the second one, he doesn't have 3 eyes, but I don't think he wants to eat me.
You don't think so?
You don't think so?
How would I know? Sure. He doesn't speak English. I try.
Oh, sure. Just make sure you always have some peanuts in your pocket. They dig peanuts, so into that.
They do. No. You got some slides of what do you want to show?
I don't know. Why don't we? I
Moon
kind
or
of
Mars?
thought we would go with some weird stuff on Mars, right? Since we've
Let's
already
go
kind of
weird
argued.
stuff on Mars. I want weird.
Dive in.
So, Zoo, are you going to put? Yeah, you're going to put it up. Okay. All right. So we could start the slideshow here. Can we do this? Can we do it as a slideshow thing? Because I don't want to see I don't want people to see the previous slides because I want there to be a few.
I can just do that.
Okay. All right. So the first thing about Mars you should know is that it doesn't look like the picture on the top. It looks like the picture on the bottom. It looks just like freaking Arizona or Nevada without some of the vegetation. And it's funny, Gary, because like Hoagland and I were one of the first ones to argue about this, to tell people this. And we put out, I made pictures like this. And it's hilarious because I see people now with like hundreds of thousands of followers. And I'm like, I get so depressed because there's my picture that I made in 1998, you know? And
That's
I'm like,
that's the internet,
like,
man.
Yeah. I just wish it said Mike Bara at the bottom, but it doesn't. It's okay.
I mean, we're aging out. Hoagland's getting old and I don't even know what he's doing right now. And most people are probably not even going to know, like, as crazy as he got sometimes, man, he was instrumental in a lot of the stuff with Art Bell.
He was huge. Yeah.
He was
Art star guest. He was Art's star guest for sure.
Yes, he was.
Absolutely.
He was.
Absolutely. So the question, and the reason why the sky is blue is because of a phenomenon called Rayleigh scattering, which basically means if sunlight hits an atmosphere, no matter what the composition is, it scatters into the blue. So skies are always going to be blue. So NASA's been doing this since 1976 when Viking landed on the surface. And there's a story, a Dr. Gil Levin, who did the first Viking label release experiment, which proved, by the way, that there was microbial life on Mars in 1976. His son was at JPL when these pictures came out. And he saw this NASA guy come out, and he was a project scientist. He wasn't like working for NASA, but he was under grants and he was there by permission. Comes out and on the TVs, it was the old analog TVs with the red, green, blue dials, right? And he turns them all the way to the red, all the way to the right. And the guy's like, what the hell did he do that for? And he goes back and he takes it back so it's all balanced, and we got Arizona again. Carl Sagan was even heard just to say, it looks like Arizona. And they told him, they came out, they changed it back, and they told him if he ever did that again, if he ever touched the TVs or he ever said anything like that, he would never get another grant from NASA. So from the beginning of us getting pictures, color pictures of Mars, they have wanted you to think it looks like some weird red alien landscape, an angry red planet, great movie, by the way, instead of Arizona. So why is that?
That's a good question.
I don't want you to know. They don't want you to know we were from there.
That's what I think too. I agree with you, Adam, 100%. So they don't want you to know we're from there. They don't want it to look habitable. They don't want you to think that we could go back there, and they especially don't want you to. They don't want you to think that there was a civilization there that got destroyed, because then they have to answer all those uncomfortable questions about what happened to them. So, what happened to that civilization? All right, let's keep going.
And this is like, by the way, this is one thing they actually did, folks. And I think NASA's explanation, which I don't know if they ever officially came out with, was it was for aesthetics. People thought the Mars was red and we wanted to do it for aesthetics. Like you're selling something. You already get our fucking money, NASA. You don't need to sell us shit.
Yep.
So that's a bullshit argument. Yeah.
And Mars does look red because the soil is heavily oxidized, iron, a lot of it. But so they and everybody called it the red planet because it looked red through telescopes. So, all right. So this one, we're not getting very good resolution here, but that's okay. It's just one of the things you have to deal with. This is a picture from Mars. And again, these are all in my books. I forget the exact image numbers, but you can go back and you can find these images, and they're going to look better than they're going to look on the computer. And if you look at this thing, this is some sort of object. Maybe it's a mesa, maybe it's, a mountain. But it looks like, if you look at it, it looks like up at the top there, it landed and then it slid down to its current resting place. Can you kind of see that trail there? The slug trail, right? And then on the right is a close-up of the object, which doesn't look all that normal until you go to the next slide. And you look at, well, what do ocean liners and shipwrecks look like on the bottom of the ocean? They look like
this is the same object?
No, this is a real ship, a real shipwreck on Earth. A real shipwreck on Earth at the bottom of the ocean. Now, Mars used to have oceans, and maybe it had ocean-going vessels. I don't know, but if you keep going, let's go to the next one, so if you don't mind. Hoagland found a ship that looks exactly like this. Now, if you notice the bow there's a big clumpy thing sticking out of the front of the bow. That's
the cod piece.
The cod piece, right? That's the piece at the top that broke off when this thing slid down.
Okay.
No, it sure looks like it though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, let's go. So let's go to the next one. Is it Zoo or Sue? Or should I just call you X-Ray Girl? X-Ray Girl?
Shoe or X-ray?
Shoe. Okay. Now, if you look at this, the I forget what that thing is called, but this is the Queen Elizabeth. You know, you got a smokestack in the same position. You've got multi-layered decks, which you can see on this thing, and it's got the exact shape. This, look, I remember when Hoagland went on art and said this. He goes, "I have found a picture of an ocean liner on Mars." and again, I apologize. The detail's not great, but I could show you, like, if I had you at the upcoming alien event, Las Vegas, September 12th, 13th, and 14th. If I had you there, I could put it up on the big screen and I could show you in the details that this thing is structured.
Where's that event at?
That's at the Alexis Park Resort in Las Vegas, September 12th, 13th, and 14th. Just next to the MGM Grand, just across the street.
Nice.
Very cool.
So, I wish you guys could come.
Do we have a measurement or some sort?
Yeah, this would be
frame of
huge,
reference
right? This would be a lot bigger.
It's essentially the same size as the Queen Mary. It's several hundred feet long.
So,
and it has all the features of a boat, of a ocean liner.
Let me just go back and ask, geologically speaking, that little trail it gives off, that what could explain that if there was wind? I don't think it would explain that trail. That would have that would have to be water of some kind.
Here's what would explain it, Gary. Here's what would explain it is if there was an ocean on Mars and there was a civilization on Mars and they built ocean liners similar to the Queen Mary or the Queen Elizabeth too.
Sure.
And then as those oceans receded after the cataclysm, this ocean liner sort of gently sunk to the bottom of the ocean, which would be soft and muddy, and then because of the weight would slide downhill until it came to a resting place, and extremities would break off nearby. So that's really the best explanation for what you're looking at.
There is it's freaking Google Earth and satellite photography and stuff, so we don't know how compromised it is or whatever, but there is like tracks on the bottom of our ocean with like giant objects with big tracks. And they can't explain like how they obviously moved.
Well, there's the Baltic Sea anomaly too. The Baltic Sea anomaly looks like the Millennium Falcon, and there's a whole. It obviously came in and hit, and hit the bottom, and then slid to its current resting place. So
basically, my backyard.
Yeah, and that thing is like impossible to get down to. The fact that they got down there at all once is, or a couple times, is pretty crazy.
So I'm just trying. I mean, there's like. We don't have time. I mean, I could literally show you. I could do 5 or 6 hours of just showing you weird shit on Mars. But the point is, Mars is a weird place. Let's go to the next.
It's a weird place. I've seen your. I like I said, I saw the last presentation they did at Contact in the Desert when it was at Joshua Tree. Yeah, back in the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days.
I saw your presentation there. I was there.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah, I was.
That's
there.
right. I keep forgetting. You were there.
Oh, there's the cat playing guitar. I don't know what the fuck this is.
The air guitar playing kitty cat.
Sig Heiling.
It could be.
It's a Nazi cat.
Nazi cat on Mars.
But he kind of has one hand strumming here and then one hand up in the air. And then let's go to the next. But I saw this. Somebody slid this at Conscious Life Expo, like 2013. They slid this under my door. And I said, what the fuck is that? And this is another close up of it. Now, I will say this. I eventually got the guy who sent me this. He said, this is the image number. And it's one of these Mars Global Surveyor images. And they're so enormous that it can take you days to go over it. I mean, you have to kind of go line by line and they're enormous. But he sent me the image number. It's in my Mars book. one of my 2 Mars books, and I found it, and I can't get JP2s to load on my current computer. It's some sort of complicated Windows 11 problem. But I went through and I found it, and this sucker is really there. It's really there, and it really looks like that. And I have no idea what the fuck that is. That's about 65 feet tall. It looks like a statue. Now, the thing about this is there's nothing else around it that looks artificial, really. Everything else looks like some sort of weird geology. But I would take suggestions on what the hell that thing is. I think it looks like there's an alcove cut out around it.
Little house, little cave behind it.
Yeah. What the hell is that?
I think it's part.
Getting some air.
It's the simulation, man.
I think
the programmers. It's like Disney artists drawing dicks in movies.
Yeah.
Where's Waldo?
I think it's the same thing.
But it's an air guitar playing cat on Mars. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
And I do have to go back and get a new JP2 viewer and open this thing up and go over it and find it exactly again. But I did confirm it. So let's go to the next one. That's an even super close up of it. It's hard to get the contrast right. That's why I need to go back to the original source, because this is a JPEG. I need to go back to the original JP2 source and really do this. Give it a fair.
Like he's stepping up a little bit too. His front leg is up a little bit.
Well, it looks like he's got it on a pedal. He's pumping a pedal. He's got it.
Yeah, it's looking way more like a Nazi cat than
Yeah, I really see a Nazi cat.
Yeah.
Isn't the Zeek house supposed to be right-handed? Yeah. It's supposed to be right-handed.
Careful.
Right?
Maybe for cats, it's left-handed. Could be.
All right. Then there's stuff other people find like this. What's that? I don't know. It's just some sort of weird wind formation, right? But you look at it and it looks kind of interesting. Let's go to the next one. It looks kind of interesting. And it's like some people think, oh, it's a parrot. No, it's not a fucking parrot. You know what it is? Let's go. Next one. We should come up with a signal. It looks a lot like the Eye of Ra, which is the ancient Egyptian symbol, right? So go to the next one. X-ray. And that's a little gross, that's the pineal gland, I think.
The pineal gland.
Pineal gland. And that's what that's always supposed to have represented in Egyptian hieroglyphs. We can go past that because it's a bunch of gooey.
I think it looks cool.
Green goo.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you look at it from that context, it's like, wow, okay, now that's really bizarre. It does kind of look like that. Now, I started doing some stuff. I enhanced this. Look at the top. Look at that top, that worn out area there. A little bit lower. Yeah. Look, right where you got it, there's all this weird sort of interacting, looks like support structure there, right? Go to a little bit to the left. See that? A little bit more right there. That is a bar and 2 other bars that are parallel to it. So like sticking through the exposed skin, and then go down to the darker area, the kind of the eyeball part. Look at all that in there. That's I'm an engineer. That's like structure. That's bars and lattice work and stuff.
It's weird.
It is weird.
What's the scientific explanation? We just don't talk about it, or is it salt? Or it can't be salt, but
it's a geological formation.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
Yeah, we just don't acknowledge it. So go to the next one.
It definitely looks like at the bottom. Hang on, go back, X-ray girl. On the bottom, that looks like a little bit of an entrance right there.
Keep going, X-ray girl. Keep going. Yeah. 1 or 2 more slides forward. It is an entrance, Gary. That's exactly what it is. That's a close-up of it. You walk along. I pointed at the screen like you can see it, but you walk along and go right down inside of it, right underneath there. And then look at all that weird antenna shit above it. That's like, I didn't make that up. That's just there. See the star-shaped thing? That's something. And I think if we go back one, there's more of that's more of a close-up context of the stuff around it.
The center.
So it's these, Adam, it's all these structural interacting pieces that show you that this is construction and not natural geological formation. So keep going. Next one. Now, these are some of my favorites. Because NASA says these are just carbon dioxide zits that popped on the surface of Mars. and made these really funky looking things. Now these are
I mean,
called.
Can that happen?
Well, they say it can. They call them spiders. But Arthur C. Clarke, when he was still with us, saw them and he said, those look like banyan trees. So what you're looking at the top there is what NASA says are carbon dioxide emissions that happen to stain the surface. And at the bottom, you're looking at real banyan trees in Vegas at Wayne Newton's house. So go to the next one. That's Wayne Newton's house in Vegas.
Wayne Newton.
So if you look at these, now which one of those is on Mars and which one of those is on Earth? They both have three-dimensional structure to them. They both have branches. They both have a biological look to them. And honestly, I don't know. I think the one on the left is on Mars and the one on the right is on Wayne Newton's place.
So would this be like a dead tree, like a fossilized one of
Could
some
be.
kind?
Could be, or Mars could be not what they tell us at all. It could be that you can have vegetation growing there in the summertime. Summer's like Game of Thrones. It lasts 2 years, you know. Summer's a long time, or it takes one of our years is two Martian years. Okay, next. So
I think if you corrected the color on that, it would be green. And it's actually a tree.
I don't know. I don't know, because these are only came in grayscale. They only came in grayscale. But nobody's ever gone back and rephotographed them in really high resolution. This was from Mars Global Surveyor, which is lower resolution, but still good enough to see. I mean, look. I mean, Adam, you're the.
They both look like they have shadows.
Yeah, and
the one on the left looks like it's got shadow on the left side of it. You know,
is it just me, or do they look a lot alike?
They do.
So if there's trees on Earth, how come there can't be trees on Mars?
I've never heard of a carbon dioxide?
Carbon dioxide burst?
Burst, yeah. Carbon dioxide zit that pops on the surface of Mars. Okay.
But it never happens here on Earth.
No, apparently not. No. But Mars is much colder. Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids. So then there's these things. And I should have put in another slide where NASA originally showed these upside down. But, you know, I'm pretty suspicious. So what I did is I flipped them the other way. And what looked like they say they're dark streaks sliding down a hill. But when you look at them, flip them upside down, they don't look like that. They look like trees, and they are about 40 or 50 feet tall, like palm trees growing up out of the ground. Go ahead and go to the next one. Next girl. And you get more and more close-ups. And look, you can even see it looks like there's spaces underneath some of these. So are these dark stains sliding down the side of a hill? Go to the next one. Or are they actually roots of some sort of plant or tree growing out of the ground? So you've got to do shit like flip their pictures upside down.
50 feet?
40 or 50 feet, yeah. So they'd be like a tall pine tree or something. Yeah, on Earth. They'd be like a pine tree.
And even if they aren't, what the fuck are they? Like,
exactly.
It's so bizarre looking.
So,
and you know, stuff could look bizarre from our atmosphere too, looking down on Earth, but we can explain it all. And this is just supposed to be like, I don't believe for a fucking second that there wasn't some, the microbial life thing is a for sure there.
Yeah.
And they've come close a couple of times, but they can't they can't dot every I and cross every T. So that's why they haven't.
Well, it's not that they're just lying about it, Gary, because Dr. Levin has said over and over, my experiment proved it. And he went back and he looked at they used the other experiments and they said, oh, well, these experiments didn't prove it. And he went back and he showed that the other experiments were not sensitive enough to read life. Only his was. And the only one that was sensitive enough to actually get a good result came back positive for life, instantly positive for microbial life. So, and we're going to get in, we're going to show you some other stuff that's clearly there's simple life on Mars. Okay, go to the next one. Now, this is something Hoagland found. It's a close-up from one of the Mars rovers. And on the left is a fossil or something on Mars that Mars says is a rock formation. And on the right is a fossilized plant called a crinoid, which was popular in the dinosaur era. And again, Look at the segments. Look at how it grew. It grows. It looks exactly the same. And by the way, you know what NASA did with this sample on the left? As soon as Hoagie and other people started making a stink out of it,
Destroy it.
They destroyed it. They took the rock abrasion tool, the rat, and ground it into dust.
Oh shit!
Wow.
And then they
I was
said,
just joking.
yeah, no, that's exactly what they did. And then they said, well, it just came back. It was just rock. Well, you know what? Fossilized plants are rocks. That's what they are. That's what makes them fossils. So that was a cool one. All right, next. Now, one of these is a dinosaur bone in Utah, and one of these is a dinosaur bone on Mars. Obviously, it's pretty obvious which one is which. But again, if this is what spines, dinosaur bones look like on Earth at the bottom, why isn't what we see on Mars the same thing? I think there's another slide there. X-ray, we can go to the next one. And again, you look at this.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's weird. It's kind of got a double spine. So whatever this thing was, it has an odd spine. But again, that's bone growth. That's what it looks like. It looks like fossilized bone growth. Okay, let's keep going because there's a million of these. Now, this is a picture which I have not been able to find. But there, if you look up at the middle upper part of the picture, see those parallel lines? That stuff looks like structure to me. That looks like platforms, boxes, something. But look at the rock in the foreground. It's all green, and it is green in the picture, and it's covered with moss. Isn't that moss? Isn't that? I mean, am I nuts?
Seeing
moss.
Dude, my forest is covered in moss, and there's everywhere, and like I see that. And then the thing above it actually reminds me of the Mesa Verde, like under you know the actually you know Gary, right? Yeah. Those like canyon homes that humans 800 900 years ago, but that's kind of what they did. They would build these like little brick huts in these
supposedly
right now
years ago.
Correct, right.
Yeah,
that little platform box thing right above the rock with the parallel dark lines and light lines, that looks constructed to me, and as does the green box above. But I don't have to win the argument. I don't have to convince you that that's structure. But I've seen interesting geology, but I've never really seen grooved stuff like that runs parallel over and over and over again. So the thing is, on Mars, is there's something called the wave of darkening that nobody talks about anymore. I talked about it in the book. And this is that astronomers used to observe Mars, and they would see in the summertime that from the poles, Mars would get darker. Well, what happens at the poles in the summertime? The poles are carbon dioxide ice. The heat releases that ice, putting out carbon dioxide. Gary, what's carbon dioxide? It's plant food. Plant food. So these lichens and mosses and things would start to grow, and that would explain the wave of darkening. And now just nobody wants to talk about the wave of darkening anymore, even though it still happens. So I think, you do have evidence of plant life. And there's also some rocks in the Viking images that changed colors with the seasons. In the spring and the summer, they got darker, and then they got pale. And in other words, they were like lichens growing and receding with the summer and the winter. So there's life on Mars. Okay, so let's keep going. There's kinds of other cool stuff.
It's life and water on Mars.
I don't even know what's here. Oh, these are.
Wait, I want to add something there, because they're like lichens and moss. There's got to be mushrooms as well. And the largest living thing on planet Earth is a mushroom that's underground. It's actually in your area. It's like
I didn't know that.
All of Seattle to like Oregon. It's like this giant 300 square mile underground. What is the name of it? I forget, but it's this giant system of mycelium network.
Yeah.
And like all I'm thinking here is like I see this. It's like the wave of darkening, you called it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, but
this would work in symbiosis with all this. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there's some sort of network.
Well, yeah, and I think the lie here is that there is still an active ecosystem on Mars. They just don't want to admit it. So, and who knows what the composition of it is? They probably know, but I don't think we do. Okay, next. These are a bunch of things that are, again, NASA. Why are these blurry? Because NASA blurs them. Their cameras are better than this. This is from one of the 2004 rovers. And again, you look at these things, guys. I'm just going to tell you that these aren't rocks. These are They're mechanical. They're rocks don't form that way. We know what rocks look like. They don't form that way. So these are just weird things that have, curvature to them and stuff like that. Keep going. Let's go to the next one. And that little thing in the upper right-hand corner and down below, those look like bird skulls or dinosaur skulls. See the lower left middle? Yeah, that one there. And then the one up above to the right, they both look a little bit like bird skulls. Let's go to the next one. And you compare them to bird skulls on Earth, and they kind of bear a striking resemblance, right? So were there bird soars, dinosaurs of some kind? Okay, next.
Yeah, that top left one looks like a Pokemon dino something.
Yeah.
There's a Pokemon that kind of looks like that.
Yeah.
Chat, what's the name of that anime?
The next one. This looks like just a bunch of rocks, and 90% of what's in there is rocks.
Except
Anybody
for
notice any?
Stormtrooper
Except for the
helmet
Stormtrooper helmet.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Thank you. The Stormtrooper helmet. Okay, keep going, because if you zoom up on this, X-Ray Girl, that's not as good a resolution. Okay, here's the thing, and this is me really juicing this. Here's the interesting thing. This looks like a big skull or Stormtrooper helmet. You can see the two eye sockets. There's a structure in front that appears to be nostrils. And then you have those dark spots in the head. Okay, now look, you have muscles that attach to your head that allow you to move your head around.
You know what that looks like? Alien Pilot. Before Ridley Scott ruined it with prequels, but you know what I'm talking about.
There you go. So those divots in that, if that is a skull of a formerly living creature, those divots are where the muscles would attach. So biologically, it makes sense. Okay, next.
Sorry, it sounds like the world is ending outside right now. We're getting one of those Texas summer storms. It is gnarly.
Okay, so then we're just going to go through some pretty basic stuff. Again, notice this thing. It has like a sheet metal perimeter around it. And then it's got veins sort of inside of it. That's hard stuff to see. But if you look at it, again, this looks like some sort of mechanism. I don't know what it is, but it's like, I wish I could sort of direct you, but I don't have. You're doing a great job, by the way.
I can see.
You're doing a great job.
Looks like a chunk off of like a side of a ship or something.
An air conditioner, piece of something. I always thought it kind of was maybe a piece of an air conditioner. Okay, go to the next one.
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of rocks on Mars. There's a lot of jagged rocks on Mars because there isn't any surface water left, and there's tons of wind, right? Wind and sand.
The
wind and sand would eventually. I mean, if you look at the erosion, even in the arid parts of our world, a lot of the rocks don't look the same.
Well, that smooth wind will also smooth everything out and round it out. It doesn't create. I mean, look, this is some sort of box, some sort of equipment box or something that fell off or broke off or got distributed. You can even see those little things sticking out of the top, the little dark things sticking out of the top there. Those look like attachment fittings to me. Like an engineer, if this was something that was supposed to swing, like maybe the fins on the SpaceX, on the Starship, you would have attachment points and you'd make these. That's kind of what it looks like to me. So let's go to the next one. And then the next one, this is just sheet metal. That's sheet metal. It's thin. Erosion doesn't create sheet metal thinness like that. It just doesn't. So
that's definitely weird looking.
It's roughly square.
Yeah, that's
okay, weird. Next. And then we just keep going to the next one. And then this one I love. Either it's a dead snake or it's some sort of weird wrench.
That is a weird rock. Dead. I mean, that's like, is if it's a rock, how in the fuck does a rock end up like that?
Well, and like here's the thing, that thin sheet metal piece there, that's
looks like a tie.
Rock. Yeah, that's bent. That's bent like that. You can see underneath it that this is just a thin piece of sheet metal, and then you've got a clamp. I mean, I'm sorry. This is a tool.
Vice grip.
This is a tool somebody built. Okay, next. And, again, all these pictures are all verified. This is the one that's hard to see. It looks kind of like a gear, but you can call it a rock if you want, but it looks kind of.
There's been a lot of pictures of stuff that look like gears.
Yeah,
at various sizes.
Yeah. Okay. Next. And then anybody need more cowbell? How about some cowbell on Mars?
Yeah, that looks like just a
It's metallic and it shines like it's metal.
That looks like a HVAC duct for like a warehouse.
Yeah.
You know how they run the big square ducts all the way down and then get into it. Yeah, that's
Okay, so next.
square.
And then this was Hoagie's. Again, he's saying that this is an eroded like projector type thing. I mean, if you look at it, like there's the lens, there's the front face, and it's just eroded from eons of erosion. So that one's a little
I wish every one of these pictures had a scale so that you can this one right here is under a foot.
That one's about the size of a projector. It's about that big. So that's one of the things that I did pick. Is that these all are sort of in the scale of the objects we're talking about. Okay, let's go to the next one. And then this is just a weird rock which has a rectangular slot in it. I don't know if you can really see that. Maybe just go to the next one. That's like, I don't know if there's a close up. Now this is weird. This looks like a wheel or a tire, with a shaft with a hole. See that cylinder sticking out of the front?
Yeah, I think it's engine block. I'm thinking engine block.
Could be. By the way, X-Ray Girl, you're doing a great job of picking up what I'm talking about. So thank you. You're going right to where I want to show it. So, but again, rocks do not have cylinders. And this thing, if you look at this in higher detail, rocks do not have cylinders that stick out like that. Naturally formed objects just don't have that. Okay.
That is kind of weird.
Captain Kirk dropped his phaser on the surface. That's a mechanism. And I don't know what the hell it is, but it's a broken phaser that fell on the surface of Mars. And these are all authenticated pictures of Mars. These are all taken from rover pictures and stuff. Okay, next. I was hoping that one would look better. Now this one, give me a fucking break. Okay, that's a piston head or something like a piston head. Those are heat sinks on top.
So really strange looking rocks.
At me on that one. Let's argue that one. And look at the pattern on the side too. See the pattern on the you got that, but no, on the front, on the square face, the darker area. Look, there's a circular thing in there, and then there's little spokes going out in 4 directions. I mean, this is all mechanical engineering, speaking as a former mechanical engineer. Okay, next. So here's the thing, Gary. That one's just weird. I don't know about that one, but it's weird. Trust me. Go to keep going. That one, what the hell? A flex shaft coupler. Okay, what is that doing? The thing is, Gary, if it's authenticated that even one of these pictures is from Mars, and even one of those things is really there,
some fossilized tool or something. Yeah.
Then we got a story on Mars that that's just what they're telling us about Mars is untrue. Okay, next. So this is what I call the Martian junkyard. Yeah, that the one on the top. It's facing you. Again, it has a shaft sticking out of it. You can kind of see that, but the one on the bottom looks like a jet engine or something.
Oh, there's a bunch of straight angles there.
Yeah. Okay. Next. And then here they are. Those are all put together. That's just a collection. Next.
This is like going down memory lane. I remember these. I remember when Art would have Hoagland on, right? And then he'd like, go to my website, go to artbell.com to look at the pictures. And you'd have to go to artbell.com and wait for the pictures to fucking load on your dial-up. Yeah. And then like the site would crash because like there's millions of people listening.
Right. Okay. So next. And I want to say there's people there's Facebook groups like Mars.
I see a swastika.
Mars, A Civilization Lost, which is awesome. People like Rami Barilan and Martine Graney are just continue to find these things, and it's just amazing. Okay, so this is a large structure. It's the size of a warehouse or an airplane hangar. Notice
Nazis on Mars.
Yeah, it's kind of in a city block. Well, there probably are Nazis on Mars. I'm just going to tell you right now, but they're probably the good Nazis, not the bad Nazis, Gary. So
is there good Nazis? I don't think there's good.
Well, they
unless they're the cats.
But again, what's interesting about this is that it's an aircraft structure. Literally, you see streets. You could literally drive up and drive your car underneath that dark overhang into the hangar, whatever's in the hangar, I don't know. But on top, you see all sorts of piping and tubes and antenna-looking things. Those are all really there. Next. And I'm skipping over a bunch of stuff. This doesn't translate too well. But this is a picture in the same area, and there's stuff sticking out of the ground that look like antennas. There's this
That
thing.
is weird.
That's Slimer from Ghostbusters.
There's a bunch of that shit on the moon too. There's like a bunch of towers and like things that like cast fucking shadows, and you know, like the obelisk on fucking the Martian moon. Which one?
Oh, Phobos.
Phobos. Yes. Yeah. It's okay. How do you explain that geologically? Like that, like where on?
And I don't know if I have that in any of these slides, but the other thing too, Gary, is you remember from 2001, the monolith.
Yes.
They had dug it up. And then, but it was buried, and there was this pile of dirt at the bottom of it, sticking up out of the ground. And if you look at the monolith on Phobos, you got exactly the same thing. It's like deliberately buried, just like 2001. How the hell does that happen? Okay, next. We're gonna get a close up of that thing on the right, which I like to call LAX. Remember, what is that restaurant, the Encounters restaurant? That's what it looks like to me. And it's on a platform, and there's another platform below it. It's a little lopsided, but
probably
remember,
runs better than LAX.
This stuff is damaged, right? This stuff is old, it's damaged, so that's pretty weird. I should make that bigger. Next. Yeah, exactly. There it is. Like, okay, that freaks me out.
Rather go to the one on Mars. It freaks me out because I just hate LAX. So
yeah, me too. It's terrible.
PTSD in that fucking airport. It's horrible.
Next, we got to whip through these. Or we're gonna, and this is another area in that same area. I call this the reservoir, and
that looks like those salt things we saw in Peru.
Girl. But then okay, so you see the dark spots, and you see the racetrack area there, right? Yeah. Now go to the right. Do you see this dark platform that looks like it's sticking out from under that ridge? And then there is this thing on top of it, some sort of structure, and there's even. You can even see, you can see like a hose, dark hose that comes out from above and down below onto the platform and hooks up. I mean, what the hell is that doing there? It looks
that looks like those places you'll see. I Google Earth a lot. Okay.
Okay.
So at the middle of the desert where there's water collection and you're like in the middle of the desert, you'll see, and it's usually connected to some farm or something. I'm not really sure, but you'll see like little pools of water, and they're like. From the sky, they're like dark green, some are red. You see a bunch of these at the bottom of the San Francisco Bay. If you go down towards San Jose and stuff, you'll see a bunch of the like. There's a perimeter around the water, and they're different colors. It's bizarre.
Okay, next. That's a close up of that thing, and again, I think the dark part is like a rectangular platform, and then you have this structure built up on top of it, and the hose coming down, dark hose, and then it connects to a light hose, which is a thinner gauge, like the white one. I don't know what the fuck we're looking at, but it doesn't belong there. Next.
It doesn't look like it. What the hell?
Yeah, and then here's the potato bug, which is hooked up to a bunch of
Giger.
A bunch of tubes, you know, and again, these things are large, huge.
This is huge. Yeah,
like warehouses, and like you're probably looking at half a mile distance across on that picture. So that's looks like a storage tank with pipes coming out of it. You know, all this stuff is in the same area. Okay, keep going. Next. Oh, is that the end of it? Okay. All right.
That's the end. That's a good ending.
That's the end. So, you know, I mean, I could go on like this all day with Mars. It's just there's so many bizarre things that simply don't belong there if Mars is this uninhabitable, rock-strewn nothing. And clearly see that's not.
I think it's our former home. I think it's our former home. I think that's where we come from. That's cool. That's cool. And like I've seen your presentations before, and again, you'll be doing one of these presentations in Vegas.
September 12th. September 12th, 13th, and 14th at the Alexis Park Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Alien Event / Biomed Expo. Come on down. I can get you 50% off on tickets with the discount code 5050. Go to alienevent.com and sign up and come on down, and we'll be talking about this and all sorts of other really, really cool stuff. So
excellent.
We didn't even get into the animals on the moon or and
The
already
moon, yeah.
stuff.
We've been talking a lot about the moon is a trip that we could do like an entire month of shows. On
Could
the
we
moon.
do could we do 1 or 2 moon things? Just one or two?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go for
Okay.
it. Let's do it.
Can we go to the moon thing and then go to the slide sorry, that's Buzz Aldrin's Masonic ceremony that he performed inside the lunar module. Keep going. Yeah, just keep it's a ways down.
What?
Oh yeah. I'll tell you that
about that. He really did it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he admits he did it. And it, okay. So go up a little bit. Keep with that one with the paper clip. Click on that one. Now this is interesting, Gary, because this is from an image 4822 AS10 32 4822, which was blacked out in the catalog that Hoagland ordered from. He ordered it from 9 different archives, photographic archives back in the day. He got 9 different versions of the picture. So what it was is that somebody had taken a power winder, held it down as the spacecraft was moving, and went click, 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 and you can see stuff rotating and moving with the motion of the spacecraft. And in one of the shots on the ground, there's a giant paper clip.
So is this a close up of?
Go up one more.
Yeah, go up one more.
Yeah, it's an area in Sinus Meta E, the middle of the moon, where they were thinking about landing until I got all these pictures back.
Yeah.
I know it's an antenna or something. I don't know.
Strange looking.
Yeah. So okay, so keep going down on the pictures. Yeah, it is. It's probably hundreds of feet in the air,
and that's not the only antenna. There's like radar dishes, and I've seen those pictures. Yeah,
but there's one. There's the stuff in Mare Crisium. It's a ways down. Don't worry about it. There's the colors of the moon, which are bizarre. But I wanted to show you one that's really, and then of course Alan Bean painted the moon. It was very colorful. There's Data's head and Shorty crater. The Zon stuff, that's great from the Russians. Okay, slow down. No, it's okay. These are all great. We could talk about these for hours, but there's one that I really want to show you that actually I'm the guy who found this one, so it's my pride and joy. Keep going, not the pyramid. That's cool. Okay, so go back up. It's from the same picture as this pyramid thing. Click on the picture with the red in it. Okay, so in this picture, there's all kinds of stuff. But one of the things is I was looking at this in the upper right-hand corner, you see there's a black triangle area there, right?
Yep.
And that's just space. That's space behind the moon. So they were taking this picture. This is one of the Apollo 11 astronauts who took this picture as they were leaving lunar orbit of the backside of the moon. This is near a crater named Daedalus, right? So, you know me, I start looking at all this stuff. And I was looking for that other pyramid, which is right above it, which is really interesting stuff. But then you go down, and in the see that white rectangle in the upper right-hand corner, right? In the corner of that, go down a couple more, X-ray girl. Go down a couple more. If you click on it, okay, click on number 173 there. That white rectangle is this area. Now, there's some weird stuff there. But look on the right side. You're looking at a mountain. You're at an angle. You're looking down. And you notice that there's that sort of cutout area there, right? It's all dark. And there's something inside it. Well, what's inside it? Well, click on the next slide. Let's take a look at what's actually inside that.
Oh, that's weird.
There's a freaking, it's the Jupiter fucking 2, Gary. It's the Jupiter fucking 2 on its landing gear. Now, there's debris, there's ruins. That's a hangar cut out into the side of a mountain with a flying saucer in it. And then you can go to the next one. Are you okay?
It's a very
I'm just
bizarre,
puzzled.
It's a very bizarre rock formation. If it's a rock,
it's like, I don't know. It's
or ground or whatever.
Again, it's 100 feet across. It's a disc-shaped object with some sort of instrument on the front of it. Yeah, click on that one. So that's my favorite one. Oh yeah, there's nothing weird on the moon. Oh yeah, really explain this to me. And the thing is, on this particular image online, last time I checked, it's still there. They still haven't taken this one down. So the more we've given them a hard time about taking stuff down, the less they've taken it down. But look, that's some sort of flying saucer disc thing that they got a picture of, along with all kinds of other cool stuff. So
cool.
We're
gonna get to the people. Thanks, Mike. Thanks. We real quick, we have a conference coming up too.
Yeah, you're going to the the Quest for Ancient Civilizations, which I am not invited to, but all my favorite people are going to be there.
You could come over, hang out. Quest for Ancient Civilizations. This is Michael Collins is helping put this on. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing there. There's like a bunch of cool people and then one retard. You can pick him out.
AJ's going to be. You're not Gary. You belong in this group.
No, I don't.
Tell yourself, Gary, you're good enough. You're smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like you.
Thank you.
Aww.
Stuart Smalley. But yeah, it's going to be in Scottsdale, lovely Scottsdale. I'm hoping our power doesn't go off because there's like lightning strikes really close to my house right now. It's crazy. December 5th through 7th, 2025. Scottsdale is at a great time of year to be in Scottsdale, Arizona, by the way. So come out and visit us. QR code is right there.
Our link is in the description.
Our link is in the description.
That's going to be cool.
We got Bo the O for $20. Says Forbidden Frontier crew and chat. Listen or read the book. Is it Daedalus incident? The
Daedalus
incident. It's an awesome sci-fi historical fiction story that deals with the alchemy, space travel, and aliens. An awesome read and even incorporates the exploited planet theory. Oh shit. Okay.
Cool. And you know where, by the way, do you know where that flying saucer thing was? Very near a crater named Daedalus on the backside of the moon. Yeah. Maybe the guy put all that together from the nonfiction. Hope so.
Okay. I'm just writing that down. Cool. Mock Scott has gifted 5 Nerdrotic Live memberships for $25. Thank you. And PGM81 says, Hail travelers, Forbidden Frontier, you all rock. Keep on space trucking. You too. Zorbu is here for $10. Says, sorry to even have to address this, but we need to clear the air on something we saw in your chat room recently. Under no circumstances are Zorbu and crew racist. Why? Some of our best friends are green. Haters gonna hate. Hashtag haters gonna hate.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Inner City Bigfoot for $10 says, Crigler, please. Crigler.
Adam Crigler.
Was this a Nazca unwed mummy? Oh, we should talk about those. All the Peruvian mummies.
They're fake.
So strange.
Most of them are, but there's a couple. There's one in particular that they're having a hard time with because they did some scans of it and there's bone structure and it's not fucked with. Like the other ones, you can see the bars and the fucking bones and you can see how they were constructed. There's one.
Oh, no, those are alien implants to keep them healthy.
Oh, of course.
Those aren't stitches.
So what got conflated was this other one where there's a pregnant one. And Nolan was talking about this on Joe Rogan. And what they need to do, what he's telling them they need to do is isolate it, get it away from the fucking cameras and everybody touching it. And then we can do some real DNA analysis on it. But most of them are complete bullshit, especially that.
And actually, I had on a previous Twitter account, which had like 9 of them, right? Or I might even actually have some followers. There was a guy, he was a Peruvian geneticist. And he was sending me the test results and explaining to me over and over again, look, these are fake. And then he got the name of the guy who was arrested for counterfeiting these things. He was a known counterfeiter. He'd been arrested for counterfeiting coins and ancient artifacts and stuff before. I forget the guy's name. I've got it written down somewhere. So these people were all, but then the Peruvian government figured out, hey, this could be a good tourist thing. So then they stopped giving the guy a hard time. So
yeah,
the thing is, Gary, you're going to have to remember this too, as you evolve, right? Every 5 years, you get a new generation that doesn't pay any attention to the history. When I was a kid, I was a sports fan. I'd go read all the books about the NFL in the 1950s and learn all the history and learn all the stories and all that stuff. Nobody does that anymore. They just live in the now. So every 5 years you have a new generation. So a lot of the stuff that you've done with Nerdrotic, you're going to find yourself repeating to the new generation in 4 or 5 years. You're going to have to keep your message on repeat every 5-6
You have
seconds.
to reset it. The basics, the foundations of it. Absolutely. Like that being around ufology as long as you've been around and as long as I've been interested in it, which is now decades. We definitely, that's why it is good that AJ's out there and others are going over past UFO incidents. They're right. Jacques Vallée himself has enough of old lore that people have no fucking idea about. No idea who this dude is. You know,
do you think that aliens might be interdimensional beings? I don't know. Why don't you ask Jacques Vallée?
Jacques Vallée.
He was talking about
all
that
this new shit. Yeah, it's like
I know.
He is a G.
What an original idea.
So that's what I've been doing because so much of the photography and video we're getting is fucking bullshit AI crap fake. So I'm like, the real stuff's going to be in the older stuff.
Yep.
And which was a lot harder to fake. And there's a lot more, there's still very good witness testimony from like legit people out there in older books.
People who saw aliens at Roswell 75 years later.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there were aliens at Roswell. But.
Yes. Oh God, why am I blanking on his name? He just passed away. Well, just passed away a few years ago. Stan Freeman was not a Roswell believer. One of the OGs, he was like, nope, Roswell's bullshit. He was that, which kind of shocked me.
I interviewed Stanton about 3 months before he died at the Alien Snowfest in Big Bear, and that's on my YouTube channel somewhere. And he did, he was brilliant to talk to and so thorough. And also Dr. Bob Wood, who is the Majestic Documents guy who passed away just last fall, who, by the way, is the guy who hired Stanton Friedman to investigate UFOs for a large aerospace defense company in the 60s. But he did believe in Roswell. He did not believe most of the new witnesses that had come forward. Basically,
gotcha.
Basically, he was like, after about 1985, there's like, he didn't think any of the witnesses were present.
No. The only one was Jesse. What was his name?
Jesse Marcel.
Marcel. Yeah, that's like the legit one. That's the one you listen to. But like a lot later on, like nurses came out and like a lot of people came out and said, I was there. I was totally there.
I saw the bodies. Yeah.
There was a saying back, like everybody was at Woodstock,
Yeah. And I agree. Also, Bubba Doom, read Friedman's books. He does the best book on Majestic 12. And right now I'm kind of arguing with AJ about like, they want to do a Majestic 12 episode and their research guys like, oh, you can debunk it really easily. I'm like, have you ever read Stan Friedman's book about it? And he's like, well, no. That's why you think you can debunk it, because read it. So yeah, it's just the history is getting lost.
But yeah, Majestic 12 was the thing. What the details are, we can talk about that, but that was a thing.
They killed Kennedy.
That was a thing.
Alan Dulles gave the order.
Yes, he did.
CIA killed Kennedy. No, who gave the order to CIA? Majestic 12 did. Alan Dulles specifically. So
yeah, then he got shit named after him. Nazca Unwed Mummy for $10 says, people say I ain't real, but who are they to judge me? My baby daddy Zorbu went for a pack of menthols and never returned. And that's the truth. Sniff.
Aww.
Did you get abandoned? Sorry.
Yeah. JB24 for 2 Canadian pesos says, I think 3-Eye Atlas is an aquarium looking for whales. Hey, maybe it's Star Trek 4. Maybe that's what it is. Bubba Doom for $2. How is QBG's boy doing? Still praying. He's doing good. Garrett will I'll leave it to him to inform you like what happened, but it was very serious.
Yeah.
And it's still being taken very seriously. Like it was not just a little boo-boo.
We love you, Garrett, man. Hang in there.
Hang in there, brother. I thought it was late. Mars is one of my favorite topics. Turns out I had nothing to worry about. You, the pouncing purple panther for $5. You were not late. We were. Eric Mod says, X-Ray Girl, do you see the comet in Canada?
I think they were talking about Hale-Bopp. Did you see Hale-Bopp?
I think
Did you see it?
Like 7 years old, so I was not even aware. Yeah. To look at the sky at the time. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Hail Bop was it was a new comet for one. Like, you know, hey, Halley's Comet we knew was coming, and it was a big disappointment because I never fucking saw it. Like,
no, I didn't
at
either.
all. Yeah. But seeing Hail Bop was fucking epic, dude. It was great.
And I'll never forget that night, you know, where you got the eclipse on the one side, the blood red moon, and Hail Bop on the other side at the exact moment of closest approach. And I'm like, this is bizarre.
Antichrist is coming. The seventh seal has been broken. Godzilla is not fat. He's just big bone. Eric, you're right. Jose Taco for $3 says, we have FNT in Vegas, G&G in Orlando, and we could have had Forbidden Frontier in San Antonio during SpaceCon starting next year. Invite the local guys here like Serpent Bros, Wandering Wolf, and others. I can help plan next event. Let's just say something like that has been talked about. Right,
and actually, all of them were at the meetup.
Yes.
At last year. So
they were. Michael Collins was there. The Serpent Bros were there. This year has been rife with a lot of everybody across Geeks and Gamers and yours truly, and everybody's had some like IRL stuff that's been pretty bad this year. It's you know, Jeremy's dealing with stuff with his mom. It's like we've all had stuff going on, which unfortunately has caused at least you know, us to have to cancel a couple of things, but we'll make up for it next year. It's been a crazy year.
It's tough when that happens.
Yeah.
Seems like it happens in waves too. I was going to say
it does.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens when you get older, right? I was talking to Jeremy and I'm like, you know, he was just like, yep, this is what happens when you get old. I'm like, yep. But yeah, a lot of death and tragedy going on right now. Bubba Doom for $5 says, how close was Heaven's Gate to the Phoenix Lights? I remember they were close, but I can't say if it was a year or a day. I thought they were both same year, 97. Right?
I want to say, I know the Phoenix Lights was 97. I want to say Heaven's Gate was 98.
It might have been. Yeah, 97 or 98.
I don't know off the top of my head. But, you know, one of the fascinating things about
97. Closest approach to Earth was March 22nd, 1997. So when
I was wrong by a year.
When was that's a good question, Bubba Doom. Phoenix Lights. March 13th, 1997. That is fucking insane. Separated by 9 days. Closest approach. Closest approach to the Phoenix Lights.
Wow.
Whoa.
Why don't we have any big UFO sightings?
You're muted, Adam. You're muted, Adam.
How long have I been muted?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
What's the show?
I'm sorry.
Thought you were just being quiet.
Definitely during super chats thinking about it now.
Just a minute.
All my fun jokes. You guys missed all my amazing. Dude, I was firing them off, man.
You missed some of the best internet ever. Son of a bitch.
Shit. Okay. Maybe they were onto something. That's all. I was bringing back the.
No, I did not know that. I didn't even think about it at the time.
That's crazy.
9 days apart. That's fucking wild.
I didn't know that. I thought they were like separated by 8 or 9 months. That's wild.
That's crazy. Wild. You know, we need another Phoenix Lights. We need something that big with this many phones, with this many corroborating witnesses and different camera angles like that. The Jerusalem UFO that has different camera angles. That one's insane. That's fucking insane.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. But yeah, we don't have big UFO sightings anymore. And it used to be that everybody was like, why aren't there ever any good videos of these UFO sightings? Look at how crappy this is. It's got to be, you know, it's like just you can't even tell what it is. It could be a blip. It could be a balloon. And now everybody's like, oh, that's too good. That's too good. It's got to be AI.
The best one I've seen is that the model in the plane over Colombia or whatever that caught the disc that flies exactly how Bob Lazar said they fly, like go just like randomly go in plastic. And it like if that's fucking fake, man, that person needs to work in Hollywood because that shit looks so real. And they fly kind of on an angle, right? So the UFO is like here's the flat part of the UFO, it goes up.
Well,
it's like it's being pulled
don't you think the Turkish UFO stuff is probably some of the best footage we're ever
Yep.
gonna
Yep.
get? Because it was before we were really good at CGI.
No, that was VHS, and that was who? What? Tell me, it was Doctor. It was
Roger Lear.
Roger Lear. That's right.
Saw those things out there, and
no, that's where you can see the aliens.
Yeah, he said you could see the canopy open up, and that there was somebody in there, and then
it was like aliens, and our heads are moving around and shit. That is some of the best.
Yeah,
absolutely. And you can hear him talking during the whole thing, and he went up there because it had been happening for days and days and days, and he was able to fly up there, get to the point, and actually see it. And he was the one who removed alien implants too.
Yeah.
Yep.
We lost him. Gosh, we lost him 2012, 2013. We need Roger back. He was also, when I started doing conferences, he was the guy that was the nicest to me. One of the nicest guys to me. Just brought me right in. Wonderful guy. Wonderful guy.
Good dude. Good dude. All right. We're going to wrap it up there. My power held out. I'm very excited. Hopefully it can hold out while I finish my video. And we'll see. But what do you got coming up, Adam?
Well, I leave for Chicago in 4 days. Very excited about that. So it's a week and a half to the meetup. So I'm very excited.
Great flight.
I haven't been to the States in a long time. Yeah, straight flight.
Oh, thank goodness.
I had to do it. I had to do it with a 1-year-old. He turned one a couple days ago, which is just insane to me that he's a year old already. He's walking and he's like starting to talk. It's amazing. I don't know. So that's kind of that's all I've been focusing on. Yeah, just doing that.
Back to America.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Free.
It'll be good.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Cool.
You think he's going to be a skeptic like his dad, Adam?
Probably.
Couldn't help yourself, huh, Mike? I hope so.
No, I mean, that's what you want. That's what I am. I consider myself a skeptic. I just keep asking questions.
Question everything. That is that's how I taught my kid as well.
Yeah.
X-Ray Girl, what do you got coming up?
Let's see. Tomorrow, the Nerdrotic Nooner. I'll be around for that at 11 a.m. Central, and then Tuesday, Real BBC, and then gaming in the evening.
Cool.
Yeah. This also just came in.
Oh, Buster Nut Smash! Thank you for the $49.99.
Thank you.
Thank you, Buster Nut Smash. We appreciate it. Mike, what do you got coming up?
Well, I got the Alien event September 12th, 13th, 14th at the Alexis Park Resort here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Biomed Expo. I'm going to be there. Brad Olson's going to be there. I don't know about Marina Sarin yet. We got to figure that out. It's going to be who else? There's somebody else there that's a big deal. It's like a big deal, but I forget. Anyway, it's going to be great. Come there. Discount code 50. Gary, I have September 18th. I've got you scheduled to talk about your book, and now you've got another book coming out. But I can't do that because looks like I'm going to Austin to shoot a new TV show. So we got to reschedule. We reschedule that, but then we can talk about both books.
Well, let me know when you're in Austin.
Okay.
I'm like 45 minutes away from Austin.
Oh, okay. So it looks like September 18th. I'm going to be there, but I think it's going to be they're going to fly me in the morning.
Oh, in and out.
Do the interview, and then they're going to kick me out. So
gotcha.
I think. So X-Ray Girl, yeah, we'll have to
talk.
Okay. And then September 27th, the Nashville Alien Fest in Nashville. Well, I'll be there with my buddy Tom Reed. We'll talk about his famous abduction case in the Berkshire's UFO. And then October 2nd through the 7th, New York Awakening Summit in Manhattan. And then right after that, I go to Orlando for the Super Soldier Conference, the first Super Soldier Conference, October 8th. So that's all on my website, mikebarrett.blogspot.com. Come on, pick up tickets. I'm going to be talking about different things at all of them. My favorite in New York, we're going to wake you up. We're going to tell you the truth about where money comes from.
Oh,
okay.
Money is not real. Money is not real.
The air.
Money is not real.
It's not real.
It comes from our mind. Cool. Well, thank you for coming on, Mike. Please give him a follow on Twitter and all the places and the YouTubes. We are working on a video that I will be back to work on in about a half an hour. That'll be out tomorrow. Tomorrow's Labor Day in the United States. So I will be live streaming tomorrow morning right here on Rumble again. And then I will be barbecuing.
I'm going to be eating hot dogs and macaroni salad. My mother's macaroni salad recipe.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds
Good. That
Probably
sounds
delicious.
good. Chat, thank you very much. Rumble, thank you very much. We will see you all next week. Do we have a guest next week, or are we just kind of?
No, I think we're doing a little wrap up on Skinwalker Ranch because it's the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
this
It's
week.
the last episode.
So
All right, I'll
We
catch
can
up
find
on
out what
plane.
the ceramics were and all that other stuff in the dome.
hopefully they don't
Hopefully.
tease us by saving it for next season.
They actually caught a lot of quote unquote UAPs this year. They did.
Ooh.
They caught some stuff.
Can't wait to talk about it then.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But until next time, take care, everybody.
Bye.
Safe travels.
Welcome to the Forbidden Frontier.